Hi, Tina, and everyone. Welcome to today's live session again. Typically, with me, Noshin, one of the PTE trainers here at PTE Leader. Welcome, everyone. I hope all of you are remaining safe and well in this strict lockdown all over the world, especially in Vietnam and in Australia. Um, so tonight we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff which are pretty interesting and gonna be useful as well, I feel like. So stay tuned till the end to know a lot of new interesting things that are coming along about PTE test. Because recently, Pearson has revealed that lots of new changes are coming in the PTE test. So in today's live session, we're gonna, explore all of those new things. We are going to also talk about spelling myths. We are going to also talk about how, as a first-time test taker, you can start your PTE journey. Like, if you're someone for whom PTE is the first time learning about the test and you were interested to give the test, but you're confused, like where to start, from which point to start, what to do, what not to do. We're going to talk a lot about those things as well in today's live session. So stay tuned for that. In a comment, hi Tina, hi everyone. Hi Tuan, I hope you are well as well. Hi Jess, I'm very excited to have you in my live stream session. So let's get started without doing any further ado. Let's get started with today's session. I'm going to just share my screen and then start talking about stuff. So yeah, I hope all of you can see my screen. Let's get started. So the first thing that I really want to focus is that if you are someone, as I said, first-time test taker for the PTE test, and you are very confused about starting your journey, taking preparation for the test, these are the 4 important things that will give you a very good head to start your PTE journey. The first thing that you have to know is knowing the basics of the PTE test. Really, really important. If you know what is the basic PTE format, you don't know what to take preparation about, right? So know your basics. Second thing is identifying your current skill level. This is again very, very important. Firstly, you have to know where do you stand, and only after that you can compare where you need to go and what you need to do to improve yourself. So before you improve yourself, you have to know where do you stand. What is your current English level? So identify that, all right? After you identify that, start practicing to improve your English proficiency, because that's the only way that can help you get your score, your desired score. And finally, another important thing that can really help you and boost your score and also your confidence is getting feedback from formal trainers. Because otherwise you can be lost, you can be motivated without knowing what you are doing, if that is right or if that is wrong. And also you maybe kind of like feel lost. So if you get someone with you throughout your journey to, keep you on the track, telling you what to do, what not to do, how to do, you will be much more confident and focused, in your preparation journey. So yeah, these are the 4 important things that you really should focus when you are starting to take your preparation for giving the test. All right, now let's go and talk about more about the basics of PTE test. All right. So as I have said before, first thing that you have to know is learning about the PTE format. And I personally feel Pearson website is the best place where you can go and learn more about the test. There are lots of online resources available in the website of the official Pearson website. If you go there, you can learn all the basics and nitty-gritties about PTE Test, PTE Academic. Just to roughly, wrap up everything for you, this test is very convenient, taken on a computer, and the result comes out within 48 hours of time after you give the test. And also, if you want to self-study yourself and want to take preparation at home all by yourself, you can also go through different preparation tips in the Pearson website. So they offer lots of packages and preparation tips, and also scored mock test from the Pearson website. So you can go through all those things as your first step to get to know about the PTE test. Alrighty. Next thing, after you know the basic things, is knowing the exam format. Highly important. If you don't know what is the exam format, what type of questions come, how long is the test, what's happening, what's not happening, you're gonna be stuck in a very confusing era. So knowing the exam format is really important. So typically, it's a computer-based test where they will give you a headset and you will sit for the test in one of the test centers. At the moment, you have 10 minutes break in between different sections. The test tests your speaking, writing, listening, and reading sections, and involves questions on the topics that you usually come across if you are living in an English-speaking country. So all those kinds of situations they are gonna give you in the test just to prove if you are able to handle those types of situations and if you are ready to use English for your day-to-day life or not. So that's another important thing that you have to keep in your mind when you are preparing for PTE test. Next thing, which is another important thing that we are going to talk about today, is evolution of PTE. New changes that are coming in the PTE test from November 16, 2021. There are three major changes that are coming up for PTE Academic, and Pearson has revealed all of those things in their website. So the test duration is going to change. It's going to be a shorter test. Also, the score report card that you get after you give your test, that is going to be changing as well. At the same time, Pearson this time is bringing a new thing. That is, you can give the test from your home. You don't have to go to the test center anymore. If you want, you can sit for the test from your home or any other comfortable place away from a test center. How exciting is that? So these are the three things which are going to be changing from November 16 this year. So if you are planning to sit for the test after November 16, you will be facing these changes. But if you are someone who is going to give the test before November 16, in that case, it's the typical one, like the normal one. You still have to go for 3 hours test, and you still will have 10 minutes break and all those things that are happening so far till now. But if you're planning to give tests after November, all these new things are gonna come up and you don't have to sit for the test for 3 hours long. All right, so yeah, think accordingly when you're ready to give the test. Hi, Salman. I hope you are doing well. Also, if anyone has any question, comment, or if you want to share anything, just feel free to type your comment in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to take it and share with all our audience. All right. Okay, let's go back to our slide and talk more about new changes. So as I have said already, from November 16, there are three changes coming up. So the first thing is the test is going to be shorter. Then the score report feedback is going to be enhanced. So it's going to be modified. And also you will have the luxury of giving the test from your home, from the comfort of your home. So yeah. So the test will take just 2 hours instead of 3. So it's not going to be boring anymore. It's going to be fun. But one thing, there are no changes to the overall format, question types, or scoring scale. All right. So even though the test duration is reducing, it's becoming 2 hours from 3, the question types or the format or the scoring are not going to change. You still have to do read aloud. You still have to do write from dictation, repeat sentence, and all those common things in the test. And also the points, like for essay, you have 20 points now. After November 16, you still will have 20 points for essay writing. So the scoring is not going to change as well. The only thing that is going to change is like there will be less questions, fewer questions, because to accommodate into 2 hours time. So your preparation journey is still going to be the same. The way you are taking your preparation, the way you are preparing yourself now, even after November 16, you will be doing the same. It's just the duration is going to be different. So in a nutshell, what's changing? The test duration is changing from 3 hours to 2 hours. Questions are also going to be fewer. Usually now at the present, there are around 70 to 82 questions in the test, but from November 16, it's going to change. There will be around 52 to 64 questions. So around 15 questions are going to be reduced from the overall amount of the questions. So there will be fewer questions. And most importantly, there will be no break. Like at the moment, there is 10-minute break after you do your reading section. That's an optional break though. Like if you want, you can take the break. If you don't want, you can continue doing the test. That's up to you. But after November 16, there will be no break. So once you sit for the test, you can only, get up from your seat after you finish your test. There will be no break, nothing. So the only thing you can do is before you go into the room, you can just grab your water or anything extra that you need throughout your test, but nothing in the middle of the test. You are not allowed to go anywhere unless it's an emergency. So yeah, no need for a break during the test. So these are the 3 things that are changing. What is not changing? So the range of question types and difficulty level of the questions are still going to be same. So whatever you feel like is hard now, it's still going to be hard after November 16. That's not going to change. The quality and the level of difficulty still going to be the same. Results are still accepted by over 3,000 institutions. So at the moment, PTE score is accepted over 3,000 institutions, and it's still going to be the same after November 16. And another thing that is not changing, score requirements. So at the moment, you need whatever requirements you have that you have to fulfill to get your score in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It's still going to be the same after November 16. But just one thing that I want to tell you for sitting for the PTE test online, if you want to give the test at home, you have to make sure like whatever institution you're going to submit your PTE test accepts the test at home. All right, because some institutions may still prefer like the candidate gives the test at a test center, not at home. So you have to just double check that before you sit for the test online. And also if you're applying the test for visa purpose or immigration purpose, for that, sitting PTE test online at home is not applicable. For visa purposes, you still have to go to a test center and give the test. Or giving the test online is just limited to admission purpose only, but that too also depends from institution to institution. So that's something you have to check while you are sitting for it. Yes, Julie, that's right. It's 2 hours. I feel like you can have more attention to whatever you are doing at the moment, and also like you will be more concentrated. The quality of response will be improved as well. You don't have to do so many questions from one type of thing. You can do so many things within 2 hours, so it's fun. It's not boring anymore. From Vu, hi Vu. I hope you are doing well, and enjoying enjoying the live stream session with us. And yeah, we're still talking about the new changes that are coming from November. So stay tuned to know more about these things. All right, so again, next thing that is going to change is the report card, the score report card. So there will be a more streamlined score report after November 16, all right? So at the moment, on your score report card, you have 3 things. You have your average PTE score, you have your individual communicative skill score, like for reading, for listening, for writing. And then you have your enabling scores, like grammar, pronunciation, fluency, spelling, and all those things. But after November 16, these enabling skills will be removed. You will not be able to see those things in your score report card anymore. But it's for better, all right? So it will be replaced with a separate skills profile designed to help test takers identify practical ways to improve their scores. So in place of enabling skill, they are going to replace it with something else, something separate and something different that wasn't there before. And that thing will help you to have more idea about how to improve your score, where you are lacking and where you need to improve yourself. Now, more details, we have that because Pearson is going to reveal those things later in October. For now, we all just know this much about this thing, that the score report card is gonna change. In new recent changes, the scorecard is still going to show your overall score. The score report card is still going to show your communicative score. Just the enabling skill is going to be removed and will be replaced with something better and more helpful. All right. Oh, you are Slender. So sorry because I'm used to your English name and not your original name. So yeah, Slender, I hope you are doing well and enjoying the session. All right. Next thing that is going to change after November 16 are very secure and accurate English tests at home. So if you're going to apply in any university abroad and that university accepts online PTE test, like you can give the test home, that will be great because you don't have to go to anywhere in this lockdown, or you don't even have to struggle or fight to get an available date from the slots, because everyone wants to be competitive, everyone wants to give the test, all slots are booked most of the times. So yeah, if you have the chance of giving the test from home, that's going to be amazing. So one thing about this is that for giving the test online at home, your bookings will be available from October 25th. So if you are someone who wants to give the test at home, you can register for it on the Pearson website from October 25th. All right. After that, you can just give the test at home and see what happens with new changes coming along. Okay. Now, if you are someone wondering about the security or validity or reliability of the score, it's going to be pretty secured and very strict, because when you're giving the test at home, not only the AI, but also human, there will be a human to check for any suspicious behavior. All right, there will always be a team ready to investigate any unusual activity. For example, when you're giving the test, if there is extra noise in your room, that is a suspicious behavior. Or if someone pops up on the screen or comes into your room while giving the test, that's also going to be a suspicious behavior, and they're going to look into it. So obviously it's going to be strict and more secure when you're giving the test. So if you're studying for the test at home, there are 4 things that you have to keep in mind. First thing is that when you are logging into the system and trying to give the test, you have to submit one of the ID that the government of your country has issued. For example, it can be a driving license, it can be your passport, anything that government has issued you in your country. So you have to submit that photo ID before you give the test. Also, after logging in, after so many procedure, after you log in and give the test, there will be a live proctor who is going to monitor you entire time, or the whole 2 hours when you're giving the test. They will be looking and checking if you're doing everything right or if you're doing something suspicious. Another thing is going to be that there would be a locked browser. So the test, when you are giving the test, you will be given a locked browser. You can't change it, or you can't go to any other browser or any other site to browse or look into the internet. That's not possible. And lastly, there will be AI monitor. So along with live proctor and webcam and everything, AI monitoring will still be available, and it's still gonna scan your eye movement, your body movement, just to make sure everything is going on perfectly under exam or test situation, test circumstances. So obviously security is going to be stricter, tighter, just to make sure everyone gets a fair chance to pass the test. Yes, Trees, that's very true. Because of lockdown, there is no available date. And also at the same time, whenever you have dates open, people are booking it up, so you don't have any time slot free. But now you will have to give the test online, and you don't have to rush through anywhere. You don't have to think about COVID and all those stuff. So that's the thing. That's a very good thing. All right. So there are a few things to keep in your mind when you are sitting for the test at home. You will need to have a Windows or Mac computer that meets the system requirements. So when you are logging in or booking or registering for online, maybe they will give you some requirements, which version of Windows or Mac system allows those things. So you have to make sure those things are online. You need to have a reliable internet connection, a webcam, and a wired headset. So you need to have a headset, which is really important, because otherwise nothing will be recorded. Just for a moment, I'm just drinking water. All right. Another comment from Tina. If the number of tests is less, I'll be very, very regret when I'm skipping questions, but I have no ideas. Fewer questions, less chance. That's something I didn't think it through. I feel like, Tina, that will not be a problem for you, because if you practice well, that should be fine. And you should be focusing more on the quality of the response instead of the quantity. Don't worry about it, Tina. You would be fine. All right. I have seen you progressing so far, and you will progress more. So yeah, don't worry about that. All right. So that was all pretty much about the new things that are coming through. If you have more questions or concerns, just let me know in the comment box and we'll see. All right, moving on. Next thing that you have to know as a part of starting point of the journey is knowing how many different types of questions there are. So there are 20 different types of scored questions, including multiple choice questions, essay writing, repeat sentence, right formation. In total, there are 20 different questions. Make sure you review the different question formats, and each part has different types of questions. So in the test, you will have 3 parts: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So speaking and writing together is part 1. Then second part is reading, and third part is listening. Combining these 3 parts, there will be 20 different types of questions. So make sure you familiarize yourself with all these 20 different types of questions, so that you are not surprised when you see those questions on your test day. So make sure you prepare yourself, practice so many times a variety of questions just to boost your confidence and make sure you are on the right track. So let's just quickly go through what are the different types of questions. So in part 1, which is a combination of speaking and writing, there will be 8 different types of questions. All right. So when after November 16, there will be like less questions, it means you will still have 8 types of it, but the number of questions from each type will be reduced. That's the only difference. But the type of questions are still going to be the same. In part 2, which is reading section, you will have 5 types of questions. Fill in the blanks of 2 types, reorder paragraphs, and multiple choice questions of 2 types. Then we have listening. In listening again, you have 8 types of questions, 2 types of multiple choice questions. Then you have fill in the blanks, you have write from dictation, and all those stuff. Now, after November 16 again, you still will have 8 types of questions. Just the number of questions from each type is going to be reduced. There will be fewer questions from each type. Let's take questions from the comment. So now PTE from Julie. So now PTE test 2 hours. What should we do to manage time? So Julie, I think more instructions are going to come up as the time passes. So let's see. In the meantime, since it's going to be 2 hours, you still don't have to worry about it. For the time management, when we will see like how long will be speaking and writing section and how long will be reading section, how long will be speaking, listening sections, when more instructions come up, then we can divide and manage our time more wisely. All right, Julie. So let's just wait for a while, have more instructions. Is the mock test in PTE Leader platform changed to adapt to this new format? From Julie. Well, yes, definitely we are still working on it because these changes are very recent, like maybe not even a week old. All right. So we are also adapting to it and changing it. So don't worry about that. When you enroll with us and you sit for the PTE Leader mock test, everything will be new and recent and up to date. Another question from Julie, second Julie. Hi, how should I prepare for PTE in 7 days? Um, for preparing your PTE in 7 days, I don't think that would be a very wise decision because you need so much time to get yourself familiarized with the format. You need to check your current level. You need to check what is your desired score that you are looking for. Like how much score do you want? 65 plus, 79 plus, 90? What is the score that you need? And then you have to have a lot of practice as well. So if you think you have some time and you can afford, I will say take at least 1 month preparation, not 7 days. You can give the test in 7 days, but I can't vouch for it. Like you can definitely get your desired score by 7 days. All right. So take at least a month or at least 15 days, 2 weeks of preparation time before you sit for the test so that you don't have to sit for the test again. All right. Okay. Let's go back to what we were talking about. Another thing that we have to familiarize ourselves is the scoring system. PTE scoring system, knowing it, how does it work, what are the things the AI is going to check in your response, in your answers. Those are also very important. And we're going to talk about it in detail a little bit later. But before we talk about that, let's talk about knowing your current skill level. All right. It's very important. So you can do it in your own way, but also if you enroll with us here at PTE Leader, before we enroll you or assign you to a specific course stream, you can give a general entry test where you will be answering some questions which are pretty similar to PTE test. And then you give the test, we give you a score, and based on that score, it will be really wise to decide which type of course do you need, what type of practice materials do you need, what type of monitoring do you need, what type of guidance do you need. So those suggestions that will come after you give the test, those guidance that will come after giving the general entry test will be more personalized, more useful, and catered just for you. So I think this is a very good step before you start taking the test, before you start preparing yourself, at least see your strengths and areas of improvement. We also see that and we give you feedback, we give you more suggestions, ideas, how you can improve. And there are lots of practice questions on the platform, on our platform as well, which you can practice from. And also you can get feedback on your practice from trainers here as well. So identifying your current skill level is highly important. I really strongly suggest you that you do it. All right. No worries, Julie. That's my pleasure. And Jolie as well. No worries. Let me know if you have more questions or confusions. I'll try to answer those. All right. Okay. So after you know your level, where do you stand, where you need to improve yourself, it's time to practice. Now, obviously, you can practice original PTE questions from our platform if you're enrolled with us. But along with improving yourself with PTE questions, along with practicing PTE questions, I really want to emphasize on the fact that you need to improve your overall English as well. For that, you can just do all of these things regularly. You can read English books, magazines, newspapers. You can have a specific period of time in your everyday just to speak in English to yourself or with someone else. All right. For example, you can keep like 10 or 15 minutes in the afternoon or during nighttime to talk with your friend or your family member, or you can just speak to yourself in front of a mirror and talk in English and only in English, nothing else. You can also join a speaking conversation club where all the people go together to learn and improve their English. I'm not sure if all the countries if all the countries have this conversation club or not, but here in Australia, we have some amazing conversation clubs. People just go there, meet people from different countries, make friends, and also learn and improve their English. So if you're living somewhere and you can arrange a conversation club or a group of people who are equally interested to improve their English, you can get along, even if it's in social media, or even if it's in a video chat or audio chat. That's fine. Just keep talking to each other, chatting with each other, and improving your English. That's a very interesting and I think very useful way of learning and improving a new language. Obviously, you can also watch English movies, documentaries, series, and if those things have subtitles, then that's wonderful. Like, you can just not only improve your listening, but also you can improve your vocab, overall English structure, and everything. And last but not the least, observe the way native English speakers use English. So when you are listening or watching something American or British, don't just fall for the ways the dialogues are being used, but also see how they're using the English, in what situation, how they're expressing themselves. Or also if you have someone, a friend from a foreign country who speaks English, see how they react, how they express themselves in different situations. From those things, you are going to have more real life experience about using the language. From Julie, another question. Regarding a PTE question, how can I improve my speaking score from 70 to 79? All right, Julie. So if you're already at a level of 70, if you're consistently getting score 70 and you need 79, I feel like you are almost on the right track. You just need a little bit more feedback, like if your pronunciation is accurate or if your reading speed is accurate. For example, in read aloud, or you're struggling with having hesitation, mumbling, or you're struggling with taking notes for describe image or written lecture. It actually depends. I can't just give you a list that do this, and your score is gonna boost. All right, it depends from person to person. It depends on exactly where you are struggling with, because for two different people, the problems are different, so solutions are different as well. But overall, I feel like you are doing something great, because if you're still getting 70, which is a really high score, you just need a little bit of polish and more personalized feedback. I can only give you when I see samples of your speaking section, like you have done something. Only after looking at those things, I can say what you personally need to do to improve your score from 70 to 79. All right, I hope that answers your question, Julie. Okay. Let's talk about getting feedback. So on the same topic of Jolie's question that I was answering, you always need feedback. You need constructive feedback from your mentor, from your teacher, or from your trainer, or it can be your friend who has more experience in giving the test, maybe. Just make sure you all the time remain updated with whatever you are doing. Maybe, for example, in one day you are doing amazing. All of your read alouds are being perfect. But on the next day, you are making mistakes. You are being more hesitant. You are not being fluent. You are losing concentration. Your response in describe image is not good enough. So there can be lots of different problems depending on the person and their unique situation. So it's highly important to get feedback from your trainers to see where you are lacking and how you can improve yourself. Even then, even if I feel like if two people have same problem, then I feel like the solution can be different depending on the situation the students are. So for example, two people can struggle with read aloud pronunciation, but then the suggestion they give to two different people can be different as well, even if the problem is same. So it's very unique and it's very personalized thing. I can't say any general comment about these things. So that's why getting formal feedback from formal trainers is really important. All right. Okay. Now PTE scoring guide. So these are the things, these are the three things, three traits or characteristics that PTE AI is going to check in your response. The first thing is correctness. So for example, fill in the blanks, or for example, multiple choice questions. In those types of questions, your answer is either right or correct or wrong or incorrect. There is nothing in the middle, nothing in between. So based on your correctness, the PTE AI is going to give you answer. So every question where the answer is factual, specific, in those type of questions, correctness is the only thing that PTE AI is going to check, nothing else. Next thing that PTE AI is going to check in your response is formal aspects. For example, when you're writing essay, you are writing summaries in listening section or in writing section. The computer's AI is going to check if you are following the instructions, if you are following the word limit, if you are following the sentences limit. Some questions give you instruction to write in between specific word limit. So if you don't follow those things, your writing will not get any score. Even if you write an amazing essay, if you don't follow the 200 to 300 word limit, if you write more than 300 or less than 200, it doesn't really matter how well you write. You're still gonna get 0. All right. So formal aspects is another thing, another trait that AI is going to check in your writing. The first thing that is going to be checked in your writing. After that, everything comes up. And the third thing is response quality. So this is applicable for describe image, written lecture, summaries, where it's not only important to follow the rules and instructions, but also the level of your response, the quality of your response, how well you have written all the key information from the question. That is a very important thing. And also under this topic, there will be pronunciation, oral fluency in speaking section as well. So it's not just responding or giving answer, it's also about how well you gave your response, how well you were invested while you were giving a response. What was the quality of your response? How many keywords you have taken from the, for example, written lecture audio. How many keywords you have taken from the passage for summarized written text, for example. So the response quality is really important and it's going to impact your overall score as well. All right. Next thing that should be focusing on, that we all should be focusing on, is points. So there are 3 types of scoring or points that AI is going to give you. One, correct or incorrect. So your answer is either correct or your answer is incorrect. Another thing is partial credit. All right. So if your response is partially correct, you will earn some points. For example, if one fill in the blanks question, a passage has 5 blanks and you wrote like 3 blanks correctly and 2 were wrong, so that's partial credit. You are not getting 5 out of 5, you are getting 3 out of 5. So you're not getting full points, but some points because some responses were correct. So this is another thing that you should be knowing very well, that all the questions are not like yes or no. Some are also in middle, in between. That's called partial credit. All right. So another thing about the scoring is understanding the score report card. Now, this is what it will look like when they give you the test report card. So you will have your overall score at the top of your score report card, beside your picture, beside your face image. That's your overall score, overall performance. Under that, you will have your communicative skills, which is listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So the computer is going to give you individual score in all of these communicative skills. Now, at the moment, you also have enabling skills, but after November 16, it will not be there. So it's not very important to talk about that because changes are coming and it's more important to focus on those changes instead of what is happening at the moment. So focus more on overall score and communicative skills. You don't have to worry much about enabling skills based on recent changes. Okay, so this is another thing that we should be understanding while you are taking preparation for the test. Let's talk about erasable booklet. So when you enter the room to give you a test, to sit for your test, before you go into the room, the test administrator is going to give you this booklet. All right. They will give a booklet, a laminated booklet, which will have spiral bound, and it's wet erase. Wet erase means whatever you write in this booklet, you can't erase it by yourself. You have to make it wet, and then it can be erased. So you can't do that. Only the test administrator can do it. So they will give you this booklet, and they will also give you 2 markers. And then you can use those things while you're giving the test. If you need more booklets or if you need more extra noteboard, you can raise your hand and the test administrator will come and give you a new one, a fresh one. So this is something which is really useful. For example, for listening section, for speaking section as well, while you have to take some notes, you can write those things in this notebook. But there are some things that you should be focusing on while you are using this notebook. So the first thing is that sometimes the markers they give you are not always working. Sometimes they are very dry. So before you start your test, I really recommend you check your markers in the notebook, try to write something and see if both markers are working or not. If not, try to change it immediately before you start your test. All right, because in the middle of the test, if you do all these things, the questions will not wait for you. You will miss so many important questions or important information. So make sure you do all of these things before you start the test. Another thing to focus on during the test is that do not keep the cap off when you are writing, when you are not writing anything. So for example, you took some notes 1 minute ago, you wrote something, and then you didn't cap on. You didn't cap on the marker, you kept it open. What will happen is it will dry instantly. So after 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, if you want to write something using that marker, you will not be able to do that. It will be a mess, especially for questions where you need to write down instantly keywords from the audio. You will miss out a lot of important words. So make sure all the time, if you're not writing, the cap is on, it's off. All right. So the nib is very sensitive. The marker's nib is very sensitive. It gets dry really quickly. So don't make this mistake because otherwise you will be losing a lot of important things. All right. Now let's talk about one misconception about the spelling. So the misconception is sometimes people don't pay much attention into the spelling section. All right, they think spelling is not that important. They keep it for the last minute. They focus more on grammar, vocabulary, improving note-taking skill and all those things, but not on spelling. But this is absolutely a wrong concept. You have so much so much to lose if you don't focus on spelling. Spelling is highly important. In some questions, spelling is directly assessed. In some questions, spelling is indirectly assessed. But either way, spelling is important. If you don't write the correct spelling, you are not losing mark for spelling only. You are also losing mark for content. You're also losing mark for vocabulary. Because the computer is thinking this word is not here because it's a wrong spelling. So this word is not present in this writing. And if that word was something important, well, a very important keyword, then you are losing point in content as well. So spelling is very important. If you are someone particularly struggling with spelling, like you know a lot of words, but when you start writing, you're making mistakes. If you are that kind of person, I would strongly suggest you come up with your own strategy to improve your spelling, because this is important. Okay, now let's look at where the spelling is directly assessed. So spelling is directly assessed in essay. There are two questions where spelling is directly assessed. Essay is one of them. Per essay, you have 2 points. So in your test, if you have one essay, you will have 2 points for spelling. If you have 2 essays, so in total, you will have 4 points for spelling. And that's the maximum for essay. Because in your test, the maximum questions that can come from essay is, it's like the 2 questions. There will not be more than 2 essays in your test. So no more than 4 points for spelling. All right. So that's one thing where spelling is directly assessed. Next thing where spelling is directly assessed is summarized spoken text. All right. Again, per summarized spoken text question, you have 2 points. So if you have 2 summarized spoken text questions, you have 4 points. If you have 3, then you have 6 points. Again, in your test, you will not have more than 3 summarized spoken text questions. So you will not have more than 6 points for spelling from summarized spoken text question. So these are the 2 item types where spelling is directly assessed. So if you look at the scoring or the marking criteria of essay and summarized spoken text, you will see spelling is mentioned as one of the things that the computer is going to check. Another thing is where spelling is indirectly assessed. Like in the marking criteria, you will not see spelling as one of the things, but it is indirectly assessed. So in the fill in the blanks from listening section and write from dictation in the listening section. Okay, these are the 2 types of question where if you make a spelling mistake, it just means that answer is wrong. So if again you have 5 blanks from one fill in the blanks questions, and for example you heard all the words correctly, you wrote the words correctly, but the spelling was wrong for one answer, the computer is not going to give you any credit for that. The computer is going to give you 0 for that question, because the computer doesn't know if you heard it correctly or not. The computer doesn't know if you know the word properly or not. It is just going to check it if the spelling is right or wrong. So it doesn't matter if you heard the word correctly. It doesn't matter if you know the word correctly. Everything will not make sense. Nothing will make sense if the spelling is not correct. The same is for write from dictation. If there is a word like for example, a sentence with 10 words. Now, according to marking criteria, you will get 1 point per word. All right. So if you have 10 words in one write from dictation question, you will have 10 points. Now let's imagine you have written 10 words, but you made spelling mistake with 3 words. So what will happen? You are gonna get 7 out of 10, not 10 out of 10. Even if you heard the sentence properly, even if you know what are the words, but just because you made some spelling mistake with 3 words, the computer is not going to give you full points for that question. So that's how I feel like personally, spelling is very important in these indirectly assessed questions. Even if the marking criteria doesn't say so, you have to be very cautious about spelling when you're doing fill in the blanks in listening and write from dictation. So now if you ask me where should you focus more, where spelling is directly assessed or where spelling is indirectly assessed, the answer is both. But technically, where spelling is indirectly assessed, for example, in fill in the blanks and write from dictations, then in those areas, spelling is more important and you should be focusing more, because those are the things that directly impact your communicative skills, listening and writing section. Because if you don't do well in write from dictation, if you don't do well in fill in the blanks, that is directly going to impact your listening section and writing section overall score as well. Because of making spelling mistakes, your answers are becoming wrong. So this is something really worrisome. So you have to be really, really cautious when you're doing these types of questions, because communicative skills are going to be impacted because of these spelling mistakes. So if you are struggling with it, I would say practice spelling every single day. Back check your spelling, revise more, or make a separate or maintain a separate notebook or glossary where you can write frequently making the words that you frequently make mistakes with. Keep writing those words and make sure you are on the right track and you're doing everything that you can do to improve your spelling. All right. I think that's the end of today's session from my side. We have covered so much in today's session, so many informative things we have discussed. We have talked about what are the new things that are coming up. As a new learner of PTE test, what you can do, where you can start. And we also have covered one misconception about spelling. If you're someone who didn't focus much about it till now, start focusing so much into the spelling section. All right. Now it's time for taking questions and answers. If you feel like you have any question, just pop it up. I'll be happy to take it. Let's just wait for like 2-3 minutes and let's see if you have any question or comment or anything to share with me. From Julie, very informative and helpful. Thank you so much, Julie. I hope you learned so much from today's session and updated with all the recent changes. A question from Millie: if the microphone gets switched off in the first speaking question of the PTE exam, when will it turn on again? All right. Why microphone will be switched off in the first place? Like, do you mean like it's a faulty microphone, or do you mean you are turning it off, like switching it off? Because in my understanding, it should not be switched off in any moment when you're giving the test, because before you give the test, they will give you chance and time to check headphone and microphone. So if that's something faulty, you will understand it immediately and you can notify the test administrator. So yeah, there is no chance it will be faulty, Millie. If it is in the very first few minutes before you start your test. From Julie, I would like to know more about the mentor support program, PTE Leader platform. Thanks, Julie, for your query. I will really convey this message to the admin, back to you to talk more about the mentor support program. They will contact you through email or through platform. Just wait for it. All right, Julie? From Tris, thanks, great workshop. Yes, I hope so, Tris. It was worthy and worthwhile to listen to for 1 hour, to keep me listening, my blabbing and everything. No worries, Julie. No worries, Millie. Yeah, so don't worry if about the microphone, because yeah, you will have the chance of checking it. And if it's not faulty, don't worry, it's never gonna turn off in the middle of the test. Yay, Julie is clapping, which means it's a good thing. No worries, Julie. So if we don't have any more question or concern, let's end today's session, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. From Thuan, yes, good night, and have a good sleep. I'll see all of you again in next week, Thursday, hopefully, if everything is still the same. All right. Bye, everyone. Stay safe and have a lovely night ahead. Bye.